I'm more gravity. Let's play chess already, because I'm already going. We'll play this move here. Okay. Well, we eventually got our win in. We got our first win of the day. Remarking, I used both games against the same player. Ended on move 52. Let's take that as a hint. We should review those games before 11:52. This most recent game was just two big blunders by my opponent. The computer has coded them as a miss and a blunder. No, it's not the one I was thinking of. Well, let's go over this. This shouldn't take too long to go over this game. This is going to be one of the classical ways to decline the King's Gambit. Black declines the King's Gambit here. Knight to c6 before d6. You could also play, I think viable is King's Gambit. Viable too is d6 right away, but it looks like it's not quite as good as knight c6 according to Torch, so that's fine. And then I've heard that the only way to refute a gambit, this is International Master Andrew Martin, the only way to refute a gambit is to accept it. And Torch agrees. E takes f4. E takes f4. I've played many games with as black, capturing on f4. The King's Gambit accepted. So I may kind of jostle myself, or not jostle, but move back and forth between just King's Gambit accepted and the move 2 ... knight c6 for black. I like to decline with knight c6 or with d6 and capture. There's only really one way to accept the King's Gambit. Knight c6, knight f3, d6. Really classical, not worrying too much about combinations or attacks early. We're just going to get a solid center, a bishop that's very powerful, a knight that's very mobile, all these things. Our king is safe, right? Black's king is quite safe right now. And white is playing in a very, very classical way, challenging the center by occupying with pawns and also controlling the center with pieces, minor pieces, and so on. Is a knight looking towards the center. D4 is ready to happen at any moment in time. King is castled kingside, the most, more of the most classical way, and a rook helping to defend. So white is doing fine here. Black similarly is doing fine. The issue for black is kingside piece development to get his castle in, or perhaps in some cases black will castle queenside instead. It's a bit quicker and can allow the F, G, and H pawns to become a pawn storm against white's kingside. They can get mobile and really get things going on in an attack. Not if black is castled that direction. Yes, if black is castled queenside. So knight to d4, some kind of miss. You can look into maybe here accepting a delayed accept of the King's Gambit. I wasn't interested in that, so I played knight to d4. When the bishop came back, found a good move. Knight takes e2. We want to be careful here against tactics like well, even just liquidating in the wrong way. Knight takes knight, bishop takes knight, knight takes knight, Let's do this way. Knight takes f3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, and then queen takes f3. Shows that white is better, quite better there than black. Even though it's just the same material sacrifice, this would be a horrible place to trade pieces. And sometimes we welcome an opportunity to trade pieces. This is not that opportunity. Here with black to move, and white has white has 6/10 of a pawn as an advantage. Well, we were examining this position, so black can do better than just liquidate it to the tune of about a pawn. Knight takes e2, check. Queen takes e2, and black is now in trouble. This is not good. But, you know, we play on, it's not the end of the world, so I'm going to bunch up my rook and queen together. I know that the pawn on a7 might be captured, but I don't think white has that kind of time to spend capturing on a7. Just doesn't have that kind of time, frankly. Black's has this lead in development, and white already has an extra pawn. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so Torch's calculations agree with me. Yeah, queen takes a7 is the fourth best move. There's not, white can't spend the initiative on capturing a7 quite yet. They queen is too important to the center and to controlling, for instance, the b file. So my opponent played wisely and chose instead to capture on e5, which is a fine move. Knight takes e5, drops a piece. After the king moves, we pick up the knight. We know all along that the rook on c8 is protected. And now black is sitting pretty, sort of. Black has to trade pieces, equal value or better. A pawn here, there's not a big deal. Get below 3 pawns. Black needs to preserve, usually 3 pawns is safe. The other 2 pawns, you know, swap them for a enemy pawn or something. I played bishop d6. Yeah, this is threatening mate on h2, requires a response, develops a piece to a better square. On e2, the bishop's gonna have his line of sight blocked by knight f6. This is the only really logical developing square for black's g8 knight. The bishop kind of has to move away from e7, and the knight will move to e7 in its stead. Now watch it. Murphy's Law will have me. I'll press play the next button, the next move, and I'll have moved knight to f6. But this is still good advice. Bishop to e6. Part of the strength is that it allows for knight to e7 if necessary. So that's fine. Oh, we didn't come to that. After pawn to g3, I considered this to be a very bad move. Did I? Was this the move? Because it allows queen to h5, threatening to capture a pawn, and with the subsequent checkmate threat, and we have enough pieces to support this kind of attack, and white's king is a bit unsafe anyway, that I thought that there's got to be a better move on the board than pawn to g3 here. How about oops, on the wrong move. Instead of pawn to g3, how about pawn to d3? The bishop needs to get out. The rooks need to become connected. I don't pawn on d3 though. Then okay, yeah, that's checkmate right away. All right, so my opponent's blocking the checkmate threat. You have to excuse me there. You know, old man's testament, his artistic temperament. So what other options did what other options did white have? None of them are all that good. Queen b5 shuffles things around with the queen. All right, all right. But pawn to g3 says prove it. You're saying your attack's gonna succeed. Now prove it. I played queen to h5. I'm on my way towards that. And after d4 is like this non-trying move to try to get white's dark squared bishop out. Ever. It's oh so too little too late. Bishop takes g3 is as Kitty Cat would say, here comes the killer blow. Alright, Kitty Cat, das ist die killer blow. And bishop takes g3, and now mate is threatened. But now even worse, now I have either the queen or checkmate. The two moves can't both be settled. And so my opponent, I think, rather abandoned other than resigned. See how was this game accurate? It's hard to tell. It was hard to tell in 16 moves. The game is so sensitive to any one move that I don't know, I felt like I played a really good game. So I'm glad about that. This is the draw. Did I? Oh no, this is technically this is a win for black. I know. This should be a win for black, right? Somehow you find ways to dust up the pawns, and then you gotta go through the chore, and I mean chore, of enforcing checkmate, bishop and knight and king versus lone king. So, hey guys, let's do it. I get the most advanced board possible. I just finished off where it left off then. Young Hove. And we've got what am I doing? I'm trying to find a practice. Here we go. At the ellipses. Can these three pawns storm black quick enough to either capture one of black's pieces? Alright, it says even now, so let's go a little bit back. Here we go. Okay. I've been told this is a forced win for black. And note that the progress bar doesn't indicate the same. Okay. Uh, we might come back to this later. It's a kind of horrible blunder in this game. Alright, I know. I had the win and I timed out. That's frustrating too, though. Let's find a better move than pawn to h4. I said pawn to h4. I meant pawn to h5. This is the bad move that I played in the game. What else? Pawn captures g5. I'm not sure if white can, I mean, with the king inside of the square of the pawn, I'm not sure that white can, I mean, maybe, Progress Bar says we can. It's a little bit, seems a little bit tricky or dangerous. Let's do it. Let's see what we can do. White king belongs here, and then here. That's not the end of the world quite yet. So any way to fork it with the king would be nice, but the computer doesn't make those kinds of mistakes. Push. And capture both of these. No, nope. Black would capture here. Capture both of these. Yeah, so that's it. Alright. H5 was a bad push. I needed to capture instead. Put this here. And white is going to checkmate. Interesting. Okay. This was the... Yeah, we gotta find a name for this. The repaired game, maybe. The continued or repaired games. I'll be thinking about that. This game went 16 moves. Hmm. Let's play this out. I'll finish this with some practice versus computer. Alright, gives up the queen to stall the mate. Not even a calculable forced mate yet. It soon will be. I'm partly trying to find the best move, and I'm partly trying to find why this 8-point lead in material is proven to be trickier than most 8-point leads in material. That much I know. It's like you find a move to put the whole thing, wham bam, thank you man, and done. But this board doesn't. That's not what this board is saying to me. This board is saying to me, rook at c to d8 loses a pawn. This board is saying to me that bishop to just rook at f to g8 loses a pawn with check, and another to come soon. This is a tricky board for black to prove a win, but why? Part of it's fractured pawn structure. Part of it's the relatively open nature. Other than that, I don't know. For the most part, then, I don't really know. This position should not be quite as difficult. Alright, we'll play bishop c7, might make sense. the bishop there. Alright, I'm gonna end this session soon. So with the repaired and continued, and accuracies are acceptably high, so I'm happy about that. Okay. Close down any windows that we're not needing. These two are very similar. So close down this window. A tab. Technically it's a tab. Okay. What do we have here? Alright, we'll keep that open. So we played these 3 games today, and the last one was short but was also a win, a real win. So overall, not a bad, well, it's bad but not all that bad. I'll be able to rebound from that. Thank you so much for watching. That was my, oh, thank you, Gravitrons. I'm More Gravity. Have a great night.